Alright, in this video, I wanted to go over what you guys should know before you walk into your AP Calculus class, so that when you get there, you'll be prepared and you won't get an F. Okay, so let's start with the basics. You're going to want to know your exponent rules. So that's going to be like if you're multiplying two things, how to add the exponents and subtract the exponents as the case may be. You're also going to want to know your logarithm rules, so like natural logs, regular logs, the change of base formula. You might also want to know what the graph looks like, and then factoring. So you're gonna want to know like normal factoring, completing the square, quadratic formula, all the techniques, because you're gonna use the one that's most applicable to your situation and specific problem. Okay, next you want to know to find the slope of a line. This may be given two separate points, or it may be given a point and a slope, and you're going to use point slope form. So you're going to want to know how to do that. And then the area and perimeter formulas. That's if you have like a shape, like a triangle, circle, or whatever, and you want to find the area or perimeter of it. You want to know the formulas, right? Base times height to 1/2 base times height, whatever the case may be. Because sometimes on the AP they'll give you like a circle or whatever, and part of the problem will involve finding the area under the circle, for example. And then you also want to know how to multiply by the conjugate, which makes the denominator of your fraction less ugly. Then we want to get to a slightly more acidic but still kind of basic material, partial fraction decomposition. That's when you take one fraction that's all nice and happy and you painfully rip it apart into two separate pieces. You're going to want to know composite functions like f of g of x, where you have like one function and then another function and they're both together. You want to know inverse functions, which are functions that undo each other. You want to know how to determine intervals of increase, decrease, exponent. You kind of want to know conceptually what they are, because you'll get into like the math behind it in calculus. You want to know sigma notation and the formulas involved with that. Like sigma notation for I squared, I cubed, and so forth. Actually, no, I think that's it. I squared, I cubed. And then you want to know geometric series, which is, you probably learned that in geometry class, where you have common ratio. You want to know single digit addition with borrowing, probably one of the most challenging topics on this list. Next, you want to know even and odd functions. There's a very simple test to determine if a function is even or odd. You just plug in negative x and you see what happens. So you want to know how to determine those. Long division, this isn't like 7 on the outside, 42 on the inside, and you like see how many times. It's like long division with polynomials, right? You're going to use this technique, especially when you get to partial fraction decomposition and integration later on in the year. You're going to want to know how to do this. Parametrics and polars, those are topics covered in pre-calculus. You probably still remember them relatively well, but if you don't, you're going to want to brief over those, especially if you're in BC. Actually, only if you're in BC, because AB does not cover parametrics or polars. But yeah, you want to look at that. And then finally, limits. Limits is like the first thing you do as soon as you get into calculus. It's like the first unit, number 1. You'll go over all the stuff that you probably learned in pre-calc, but you still want to be familiar with limits so that you're set going into class. Okay, trig. You're going to want to know your unit circle. Sorry with this mess up here. I'm not really good with shapes. I kind of messed that up sometimes. So the unit circle is what it is. You're going to want to know your identities, your double angle, your half angle, your sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. You're going to want to know those kind of things. And then finally, you're going to want to know the graphs, domains, and ranges for the 6 major trig functions and their inverses. So like the sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent, and their inverses. You want to know all about them, their family history. So, hey you, I got a worksheet for you. It's a math worksheet. It's 100 problems. There's an included answer key. It's a fun time. There's some easy problems. There's some challenging problems. There's some in-between problems. It's great. You'll love it, I'm sure. So check that out. It is actually really helpful because some of the problems are just taken from calculus questions and modified to take out the calculus. So it's a really good grasp of, and it covers a really wide range of topics. So you'll be really prepared for the kind of material that they'll ask you for in calculus. So also I want to mention Paul's online math notes. Something in the background, sorry. I want to mention Paul's online math notes because he has really high quality notes and really especially high quality practice problems. His practice problems are the real deal. Okay, he has a bunch of stuff. He has stuff for pre-calc too, I think. So you want to look at that. And then finally, I just want to mention one thing here. Is calculus. When you search this in, notice that all three of the top responses are hard. Everyone's word of calculus is hard. And my advice to you on that is calculus is hard at the very beginning when you're getting acclimated to the environment. But once you settle in and you find a study strategy that works for you, calculus is, I don't want to say easy, but it is manageable. Okay? So that's that. I hope you found this video helpful. Hope you'll check out the worksheet. Let me know if you like it. And I will see you in another video. Goodbye.